time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Squiddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome to the Insight AFL podcast. I am your host, The Horse, and joining me again is my right-hand man from last year, the man that made everyone laugh on the frequent, but also knows how to pick a SuperCoach side. It's Squiddy. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. It is bloody good to be back talking AFL. Team Picker is finally out. They told us the 16th. They told us the 17th. Finally, it's here on the 18th, but I'm not going to hold a grudge against them. I'm just glad it's here. You've made me very, very happy a week out for Christmas, so thank you very much, Horse. But we're joined by another man as well here today, and I think it's a familiar face to our podcast, Horse. We have the one, absolutely. The only, Nerds.
The man that is known on social media as Nerds for Life. Petey, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been a big day. I had to quickly make my team. I had a 10-minute break at work, and I was like, it's just coincided. Perfect timing, and I think I was on that 10-minute break for an hour. But I got the job done. I made my team. I'm ready to go. But it's not what we're not releasing our teams today, but no. I've updated it like 6 times already. I don't know. It's been great. It's been great. This is better than Christmas, honestly.
Oh, absolutely, mate. And for those that aren't aware, Pete runs the Nerds for Life SuperCoach page on social media, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, all good social media platforms, and has the up-to-date news on all clubs, who's tracking well at what club, injury news, and players you need to keep an eye out for over the preseason leading into the preseason games and also round 0. So if you haven't yet, please hit him up, hit like, subscribe, and the bell on his pages. Like, hopefully, you'll do for us. The bell, the thumbs up. You'll get to know when we're going live each and every time, ladies and gentlemen. Do us a favor and give that a tick. But also, we are on Patreon as well now. We're going to give exclusive news, exclusive updates, exclusive stats for everyone involved in our Patreon. And the best part of that is that it is free. The description or the link for that is in the description below. Click on that, work your way in there, click AFL SuperCoach, bada bing, bada boom. All the news will be there for you. This year, we had a lot of people interested in our cash leagues. We will be running them again. Leagues aren't open yet, but when they are, we will let you know. We will be running $25, $50, and $100 leagues again. So if you're interested, we can always hold a spot for you. So if you'd like to give us a DM and let us know that you're interested, we'll hold that spot for you. And once it does open up, we'll get straight onto you. Now, we're going to get into today the team picker. So live, myself, Squiddy, and Pete, we sort of thought, well, let's put a team together, not just for the experienced super coaches in the land, but for those of you that are starting SuperCoach for the first time. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the team picker. We're going to pick a team off the top of our heads that we think might go all right this year, but we'll also give you guys at home a bit of a guide as to how to structure your team for this coming SuperCoach season and hopefully lead you along the right path in order to win your leagues. So, without further ado, Pete, I'm going to throw it to you because you've been putting out some awesome news on social media, mate. For you, out of all the clubs that you've heard from, all the news that you've been given, for your defenders, who's the standout for you so far?
Okay, so standout for what? Well, if we're talking, are we talking rookies or primo? Okay, because
I'll let you choose, mate.
Well, this is the first player I picked in my team. All right, and I'll give you a reason why.
Ooh.
I think that this club has the best buy, so it has the best mid-season buy. They play the Tigers twice and early, so that means juicy points, especially in the position that he plays. It means you can captain him early. They have a pretty good draw because they didn't finish well last year, and they avoid the round 0 bye, which means when some primos are missing, this guy's going to be playing well, hopefully. And he's also got DPP.
Oof.
Tick, 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 tick. Jack Sinclair.
Oh, wow, hey.
Damn.
That's a nice little left field first up response, given that I was expecting a Bontempelli or X Spectrum, as our followers would know as Tristan Cherry. Pardon me. But Jack Sinclair, the fact that you've brought up those buys and the strategy behind that, ladies and gentlemen at home, you are going to need to be aware of when those buys are, because you don't want to be caught short in any given week in your league. So Jack Sinclair, in the defence or in mids, right?
In defence, though, I would love to have a swing between mid and defence at some point. Thus far, there isn't any defensive midfielders that are in my midfield for my team, but I'm hoping that changes as we get closer to the season. Having that flexibility, that swing is really important. It means as soon as the season kicks off, you want to have that flexibility where you can move a player from either defense into midfield or vice versa to cover your lines, especially during buys where you might have a full midfield and you've got a couple of guys on your bench that are playing in your midfield, but then you've got a couple of zeros in your defense. Well, if you've got some DPP, which is dual position player, you can swing them. So therefore, for that week, you've got cover. So I'm hoping that I can find someone. I mean, there's Bo Allen. Yeah, that's a good one, but he's and Sard as well. I can't pronounce it. El Hawley. Yeah, El Hawley. But they're in my they're in my defense at the moment. So, but yeah, Jack Sinclair, absolute lock for me at the moment. Ooh. I did mention those guys, but I didn't even have to put them in the team. I was just talking about them.
You know what? For me, I really like those two. Bo Allen, West Coast Bowl reports were going to pick him at 2 or 3 in the draft and traded back and still got him at, I think it was 16 in the end. So they had a big win, and I feel like he's going to be very relevant with the West Coast side this year. So he can go into our defense as well. Skiddy, give me a primo defender that you're keen on, mate.
As you were just saying there as well, Pete, I love that pick of Jack Sinclair. Every possibility that you just said under the sun, just tick, tick, tick is all for Jack Sinclair there. Let's just hope that Ross Lyon doesn't put him in the midfield and stuff us like he did last year, because he was booming when he went off of halfback last season. So really, really like that. And they have the Crom round 1 and then the Bombers round 2 and then the Tigers. So that looks like pretty good cash gen there for Jack Sinclair. Do you want a primo horse, or do you just want a little bit of something?
Give us a primo, mate.
Give us a primo. All right. If we're going top dollar kind of thing, I'm thinking that I really like the looks of Lachie Whitfield this season. I feel like there's a lot that can be done for the Giants. He was obviously the number 1 guy off of there. Yes, the price is heavy, but I feel like he's just going to be able to consistently do what we need him to do all through the year. I'm going to have to ask with Pete to see if the fixture and everything like that lines up, but I think it's not too bad because we don't have the bias. Oh, we do have we do have one of the buys straight up, actually. I hate that now that I think about it. Sorry about that, Pete. After I haven't just gone straight through that. It's probably not the best one, Horse? Let's go with...
No. Sheasel?
So I'm not as high on Sheasel this year, which really pains me to say, because I'm just not certain he's going to be getting this, the half-back role that he had last year. Because they have more talented guys, not more talented guys, but they have capable guys now that can also play off of the halfback, like Caleb Daniel, and then they can continue with that. So I don't think they're going to have to necessarily use that. They have a lot of mids as well. So I think Sheasel's going to be able to do most of his damage half-forward line, and we're not going to be wanting to pay, what is it, $635K for a half-forward flanker. I'll wait for him to drop a little bit. But one guy that I reckon I can be pretty safe in saying, and I'll go with Jordan Clark, I reckon, Horse.
I really like that pick. He used the ball extremely well off halfback last year. And again, the CNC combo with him and Luke Ryan, they both use the ball so well off halfback. And Freo tend to generate a lot of their forward furets through them and through their feet. So I do kind of like that pick as well, mate. Is there any rookies that you can see or any mid-prices in the back line before I touch on mine, before I give my players, before we move into our forward line?
I've got 2 at a low price that I want to just keep an eye on. Well, obviously, Kadeem Coleman at $269K would be, I think, in a lot of people's teams. If Peter's all right with that, then I think that's a ripper. If he's back and fully fit and firing for the Brisbane Lions, I'm keeping my eye. I'm not 100% yet. Shout out to Nerds for Life. If you're not following, you probably should. Josh Sin is apparently having a look at getting a crack at the half back line for the Port Adelaide Power. I'm not 100% if it's going to be him, Bergman, or Kane Farrell, but I'm interested either way at that price. If we do hear that he's getting the halfback flank, then I'm very much into. And if Josh Goda is 100% fully firing for North Melbourne and he's able to play that halfback flank, I just love Goda. I reckon he can do it all in that halfback line. So if he has fully recovered from the Achilles injuries, then that is someone that I would be looking at 151K.
Before Kitty Coleman went down last year with his knee injury, that grand final against Collingwood, he scored 144 SuperCoach points. He was on fire. So to get someone with that sort of ceiling at 269K, I find that to be a really nice buy for our backlines.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to give a couple of players a bit of a look in here. Pete, you're a Tigers man?
I am. A bit too much.
I really like the looks of Smith. Caleb Smith, 121K well. Defender. So this guy, you'll be able to confirm or deny this, mate, but we've heard that he's being trained up as a running half back, and he's quite, I won't say elite because he's still young, but very good by foot, and they're looking to mould him in the way that they have previously with Jaden Short and Daniel Rioli. Have you heard anything along the lines of that?
No, definitely. Well, Daniel Rioli and Baker are out. We've seen them. They've moved on. Tigers need someone to fill that void, and it's a pretty big void to fill. Caleb Smith is one of the guys that are in that lineup. There was a very brief match simulation, and he was playing across the half-back line. So, yes, he's currently in my team in Team Picker at the moment as well. Obviously, we need to wait and see if he actually gets that spot, because I know that Banks and Trezzy are also training in the similar positions. Now, there are a couple of spots up for grabs, and don't get me wrong, the Tigers are a basket case, so we will see rotations throughout the year. But I do like the pick, and he's in my team for now, and I guess we'll just have to see how the preseason progresses, especially after the Christmas break with some practice matches.
For sure. Another young player for me, injury riddled history. But I feel like if he can just get his body right and string, I only need 8 games out of him, and then he can. I don't want him to do an injury, but then should give me enough money to then move into another player, and that is a man we know as Zach Reid. So Zach Reid had a lot of potential about him last year. He's only at 119K now, and he is the main man in the Essendon preseason playing across centre half back. Now, I don't like carrying too many injury riddled players in my team in SuperCoach, but when we're talking young players with a high upside, I think we can afford to give this guy an opportunity. He's a watch very closely during the preseason, because if he is fit and firing, he's an intercepting defender. He's one of those big guys that can also use the ball. He's not like a Ben Mackay who, as soon as he gets the ball, you hope that he handballs at someone because he is going to turn it over. He can actually use the ball, and his disposal efficiency is usually quite high. So if he can string some games together and get his body right, I'm pretty confident that he's going to make us at least a couple of 100K.
I am bloody glad that you did not just say Ben Mackay and then you started comparing him and then put him into our team, because I was like, no. We're not doing that.
Now, there's 2 other mid-price madness players that I want to bring up here. And that is Matt Roberts from Sydney. So he's at 434K. He had a really big finish to the season last year. So he's the first guy ever to make 300K, then lose 200K, and then make almost another 300K before the end of the year. It was a tale of three thirds for the season for Matt Roberts at Sydney. Started off really well and then had a real big lull mid-year when Sydney got the Callum Millses and Luke Parkers and those sorts of players back. But then at the back end of the year, Sydney saw use out of his foot skills out of the back line and used him as the main distributor. So you could look at him as a mid-pricer or someone else that I really like. And I want to give a shout-out to Damo from the Footy Mailbag for this one.
Yeah.
And that's Harry Perryman. So Harry Perryman is at 417K. And you look at him, and it's not a snazzy pick. Average of 77.5 in 2024. But when he spends 50% or more game time in the midfield, he averages over 100 SuperCoach points per game. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep that in mind for the preseason. And if you see Harry Perryman lining up in the midfield and getting plenty of the pill, I encourage you to select him in your side.
Okay.
We might
An
just
interesting pick.
Yeah. It might be that point of difference that separates you as well. And we do love those behind the wall stats that, we can dig out and try and find for you at home as well.
Pyramid's that interesting one, Horse, just because when we were doing the Collingwood side rotation and we knew that it's going to be Dacos, we know that it's going to be DeGoey in the midfield for when he's there, but Tom Mitchell's out round one. So there is a bit of a question mark on who that third midfielder is for Collingwood. So could very well be Perryman with his with how good he is off the run and how good he is with ball.
Absolutely, it is, mate. I'm going to skip the mids and we're going to go straight to the rucks. Pete, are we going to need to think too much about the rucks, or do we put in Cherry and another ruckman here?
For me, honestly, it has to be Cherry. Set and forget. Number one ruckman, the only ruckman at the club. The club's going to be doing better, hopefully, with guys like Sheasel, McKercher, Wardlaw, LDU down there picking the ball up from his hit-outs. It's got to be Cherry. And then you got to go someone that could potentially, some value pick as well that has huge upside. I think you know who I'm talking about. And but I'll let you guys think. What do you guys think about the second pick? Cherry's the lock for me.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to ask me. I'm going to go Cherry as well. The ability, because if he can ruck down to the midfielders and be actually getting the hit out to advantage points rather than him hit it to the other team and him tackling the other team, it doesn't matter which way he goes. He's going to win the tap out and then he's going to either get a tackle or hit out to advantage. I love it. And there's a bit more with Luke Parker coming in to formulate that. I love Cherry. Two ways that I'm looking at it here, guys, is one is TDK because of the upside that is available. But if Voss does the bullshit where he does TDK and Pitnet like he said he's going to do already this preseason, I am going to lose my mind, and that is going to suck for TDK owners. That's the difference between 120 and 80 for your Supercoach score. The other guy I am keeping a very, very close eye on, and that is down the highway in Geelong. If we get Toby Conway as the number one ruck in Geelong for 300K, I'm very, very interested.
I got someone better for you.
Oh, okay. Talk to me. Shit all over me.
Matt Flynn at West Coast.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know what? I've considered him as well.
It's interesting.
Yep.
But even in the number one ruck position at the Giants, his scoring was at best.
Mm-hmm. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So for me, what we'll do is I really like the DeConing shout, and some numbers for you guys at home as well is that Tom DeConing, when he was the sole ruckman at Carlton, he averaged 123 Supercoach points per game last year, which was good for the third best average in the AFL all season. Rucking with Pitnet, Carlton were 4 wins and 9 losses. When TDK rucked by himself, Carlton were 9-1. So, Michael Voss, I know you listen to this podcast. Play TDK by himself and let us all benefit from the good graces of Tom DeConing in our second ruck position. Skiddy, when we're talking about our third ruck here, are you looking for a cheap ruckman that has DPP so you can swing him forward or middle or back?
Yeah, mate, that is absolutely where I'm looking at. I'm looking at West from Collingwood, or there was another guy, Sims from Richmond. They're probably the two. Let's give a little bit of love to Pete and go Sims from Richmond. He's the one there that we can look at. But Pete's got a little something.
Go for us.
He's not in Team Picker yet because he only just got listed. Okay, but are we forgetting about Mr. Boyd at St Kilda? Because at the moment in my team, I've just got a placeholder there. There's a guy that is just a placeholder there, and as soon as Boyd is available, that guy's out and in comes Boyd. Just saying.
Yeah, I like it.
So the guy that he was competing against, Max Heath, he gave him a bath the other day in that intra-club, didn't he?
He did. He did. He looked real good.
How about we put Max Heath there, because that's just going to be the same team. And when Boyd comes into the team picker, we can select him there.
All right. Fingers crossed.
Let's go forwards. So this is probably, when we're talking experienced super coaches, there's 3 or 4 players that are almost automatic selections in our forward lines this year. And if you don't pick these players, it's kind of like you're trying to outthink the room, and you're probably going to be on the back foot right from the start. Skiddy, Caleb Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb Daniel, 269K, 100%. Halfback flank, got the role. Love that. Yep, Caleb Daniel definitely is in the side. And, yep, just put in Jason Horne-Francis. All right, just put him in. We all know he's going in. Just put him in.
It's going to be in 99.99% of teams.
yeah, 100%.
Almost as good as his 2024 average of 99.7.
At least there's no chance of him screwing us over this year and not getting forward DPP when we all needed him to. So at least that's set in stone this year. So that's good.
Yep. Speaking about your St Kilda loop with Sinclair, Pete, Mateus Filippo?
Already in my team, absolute lock. He actually was in my team at the end of last year too. If he didn't get sick, he would have been an amazing pick. He was still a good
pick. Was it glandular fever he ended up with or something? Like he was out for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he had a stomach bug and then he had glandular fever or something like that. I think he just got hit hard and he was out for like a month. But the guy's scores were good and he's playing midfield. He's looking fit. He's looking stronger as well. From the reports in the preseason. If you go to St Kilda TV on YouTube, they have a few clips of him as well as some discussions about him too. So I'm keen on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, everything like Sinclair, like you said, tick, 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 tick.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
DPP misses those early buy rounds. Going to make a lot of money. Has a prominent role at St Kilda. There's a lot of green there when we're talking about the upside for Philippou. Bailey Smith, automatic?
Yep.
The only thing is with Bailey Smith, sorry to interrupt, is that he is going to miss out early because of that bye. So his team, the Cats, play round 0, which means he does miss early on. So, like, if you're building a team, obviously this is the audience, you guys know. Be careful not to load up too many of these guys. I did last year, and it hurt me in the first month. You don't want too many of these guys. Bailey Smith is the only one at the moment that I've got in my team.
Oh,
that's it.
I would like to raise one more player that I believe that we could have a look at from round 0, Pete. I love the way that you think, obviously. So, obviously, Geelong, they get their price rises in round 2. They have the buy in round 3. Essendon and Hawthorn players are the guys that will get the price rise and be able to make the most money the quickest because they don't have their buys until round 4. So that's where Pete's looking at if we can get some Essendon or Hawthorn players. But I think there's just so much value in the fact that Jack Martin is 150K. Like, that is outrageous from Geelong. I know it's a long shot. It's just one to be keeping an eye on because he's cheaper than most rookies.
He is.
Cheaper than most rookies as a half-forward flanker for the Cats. Like, if he takes Gary Rowan's role, even if he gets 80s, like, he'll be making us coin. And a substantial amount too.
100%. Do we look at trying to get?
I love it.
Do we look at trying to get another primo into our forward line, or should we load up with rookies now?
There's one guy, and we're going back to the St Kilda rule.
Oh my God, Jack McRae.
Surely not, right? Surely every photo of him, he's in the guts. He's playing midfield. It's all green ticks.
Hey, Horse, I want both of your opinions on this, right? Because there is only 3 midfielders that are in a team, right? You can only have a ruckman and then 3 midfielders, right? It's Jack Steele. We know that for certain. And then theoretically, there's 3 other guys that could be in there. So one's missing out. It's either Jack McRae, Mateus Philippou, and Marcus Windhager. And what I'm saying is why I've just got a little bit of worry on McRae is what does Ross Lyon value more than anything else in the world? Defense. What does Jack McRae not do? Defense. So I'm a little bit worried in that aspect. But other than that, I think they still need the outside mid to be able to have that running to be able to McRae. But Windhager's his love child. He loves Windhager so much. I just don't know where else they fit.
Why bring a guy? Okay, that's fair. That's fine. I agree.
Yep.
But why bring a guy who's unhappy playing forward, half forward, not really playing in the guts from another club and then do the same thing to him? I just can't. I don't know. I surely the midfield minutes at least go up, right?
Do you think he's been promised a role, and that's why he requested the trade?
I'd say so.
Yeah, 100% to get him out of the Dogs where he was happy and comfortable to get him to St Kilda. Yeah, 100% they would have promised him the role. It's just hopefully that the management and Ross Lyon were on the same page, because I can't see Windhager playing anywhere else. The only other thing I can see is Philippou playing forward because he can play there, and then they have Steele, Windhager, and McRae as their midfield. And then we're going, well, what the hell do we do with Philippou? So that's just something to be monitoring, and I'm sure Pete will be the man that's all over on St Kilda training. So it's just something to monitor. I'm not panic stations yet, but I'm watching the button. I am watching it.
Pete, is there any love? 100%. Is there any love for Tom Lynch at 183k?
In my team. In my team already. The reason being is because we have this flex position. Okay. And I wouldn't actually be picking Tom Lynch if it wasn't for the flex position. This is a guy that could be ranked. This is a guy that only a couple of years ago won Richmond's best and fairest, their leading goal kicker, and almost made All-Australian. Literally 2 years ago. He's had 2 bad seasons with injury. That is not due to form, that price. He's a rookie listed price because of injury alone. He strings together 2 months of football, and he could triple in value potentially. Yes, he's a tall forward at Richmond, but he's also Richmond's only tall forward. He kicks a couple of goals a game, and he's going to score. He's going to be able to at least make double his money. And because of that flex rule, where there's only 22 of the 23 players, let's say he spuds it up, he gets injured at halftime, scores a 5. That's fine because your flex guy comes in. So I think it's worth the risk.
Skiddy?
Harry Armstrong and Jonty Full would be absolutely punching their screen hearing you say that right now, Pete. That is absolute blasphemy to say that about the 2 up-and-coming forwards for the Tigers. That's shocking.
They're 18 years old. I think that they're going to be good players, but surely not. Even Jack Rewell, it took him half a year to make his debut in his first year as well. And Richmond was a basket case back then.
It doesn't matter. You're not trying to win games. You're trying to get these young guys out there, get game experience under them, be able to play together, get connections. Tom Lynch is leaving your ass next year. He doesn't give a shit about you guys anymore. He's out there for himself. So maybe he will kick a lot of goals. But either way, you're the Tigers, man. I just wanted a bit more respect on Harry Armstrong and Jonty Full.
You're right. There's a few good tall forwards out there. Boa's been a pretty Boa? I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's been amazing over preseason. Forsett is another one to keep an eye on too. I really like him. But Lynch, look, you have to at that price. At least look at him. It's the same. It's the same logic as Jack Martin, except obviously a worse team, but similar logic.
I'm going to throw in a quick name here before we move into our midfield, and that's Sam Davidson. He won the Fothergill medal in the VFL last year, moves to a Western Bulldogs forward line that is screaming for a half-forward flanker. We'll put him in for now. I reckon he gets a game early as well.
Okay. No love for Luke
Can
Parker?
I just sorry, continue.
There's still a flex position to come, Skiddy.
Oh, okay, I can see what you're doing there, mate. All right, lovely.
All right, so we've got...
I just don't want people to forget about Dan Curtin. That's it.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's a good call. Good call there.
We've got just under half of our salary left, and we've got our midfield 1 spot and in our defence and our flex to fill. Midfielders, Bont, is he just a set and forget? He's that good?
Yeah, he's that good. He's that good. He's the GOAT.
You don't want to be the guy that doesn't have him when he scores 180.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's the number 1 Supercoach player in the land. Any love for Nick Dacos, or does that early buy hurt him?
It's a paid special.
I am fading Dacos early because of the early buy. I think that there are players that have the same ceiling as him that don't have a buy, so I'm going to fade him purely for that reason.
Yeah. Who out of the primos who have a favourable draw in the first half of the season would you be looking at for our midfield?
So I would say a Freo player. They've got the good mid-season buy. They avoid the early season buy, and they've got a good draw coming up too. So anyone from the Dockers, so you can go Sarong, who's probably the safer option. I'm personally going with Brayshaw purely because of the way he finished the season. He's got a really good history. I'm going with Brayshaw, but Sarong's a good choice too. You can go either or. You'd be happy.
Right. Brayshaw, by all reports, is absolutely flying over in the West as well. So I do like that pick. Skiddy, you got another primo for us for our midfield?
Okay, mine's a little bit out there, and you're gonna have to bear with me, but I think it's an okay idea. Why are we not giving any love to Will Day at 490k? Hawthorn have the last set of buys along with Essendon, so he'll get the most cash gen. He's cheaper than most. And remember, last year he did not go under 100 for about, what was it, 10, 11 weeks after his injury.
I think it was 1100s in a row, and then he got hurt. Yeah,
and he was injured coming into the season, so he didn't have a lot of a preseason under him. Hawks were absolutely firing. Yes, I don't think he has the upside of, like, the Bontempellis and this kind of aspect of like Brayshaw, where Brayshaw can run 130s and 140s pretty easily. But around that price, I mean, look, if you want quick cash gen, like, for a primo side, it's one to be definitely looking at if you want to have that look at that trade. I'm not saying we put him in. I'm just saying this is one as a talking point of what you guys also think there. If not, then I am definitely interested on either Petrarca or Clary at discount prices.
For sure, mate. Who would you select between Petrarca and Oliver, Skiddy?
Oh, so what? Track is 556k. Clary at 451. Clary was a shell of himself last year, but that was a lot of that injured hand that still bothered him and didn't want him to go into contests. He looks good this preseason. His thighs and quads are huge. Like, my God, has he been putting in some leg work?
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that Track is still going to be, worried about his health, and he's not going to want to run into contests. He also wants to go for Collingwood, so he only cares about his TikToks and his Petrarca pasta brand. So let's go Clary.
Okay. Marcus Ashcroft, you'll love the fact that I'm going to put both of your baby boys in this team.
Oh.
I think Will Ashcroft, for anyone that watched the grand final last year, you will know why he has made his way into our teams. He was by far and away the best player on the ground in the grand final, and he's still so young. He started year one, burst on the scene, made about, was it 250, 260K, did his knee, spent 12 months out, started slow last year, finished really strong with a full preseason this year. I think you can expect an 100 average out of Ashcroft this year. And also his little brother, Levi, is one of the best junior players that has come through the system. And if he wasn't a father-son pick, I dare say he would have went top 2 this year as well. So at 185K, I think it's fairly safe to say that he'll get a run pretty early at Brisbane. And he has inherited his dad's number 10 number. They're not just going to give that to anybody. So Levi Ashcroft, welcome to our team that we're putting together. Pete, are there any other rookies, let's say Josh Smiley, that may tickle your fancy?
Josh Smiley is definitely someone that I'm keeping a close eye on. He's built like a Paddy Cripps, Marcus Bontempelli.
He's huge.
A bit lighter. He's a massive. When he's drafted and he got his jumper from Jack Riewoldt and he's towering over Jack Riewoldt, I thought, oh, cool, a key forward. Wait, no, that's Smiley. Oh my God, he's a midfielder. He's a midfielder. He looks good too. I've watched a couple of training sessions with him. He's not afraid. He doesn't look out of place. He looks good. I think that he plays early. And he's definitely someone to keep an eye on. Just going back, I love the Day and Will Ashcroft, but just remember they both miss early. So if you're picking a team, viewers, don't have too many guys that miss early. I do like these because there's value there.
Skiddy.
Yo.
Rookies. How do you like Mr. Lombard from the Gold Coast?
I'll give you 4, and you can tell me where if you want to see fit and put him in there. Leo Lombard, definitely. The son of the UFC guy who is an absolute beast and a weapon. I cannot wait to see him. If he is jumper punching his teammates at training, cannot wait to see what he does to the other team in the AFL. That's fantastic. I love that heart. That's what we want to see. Obviously, number 1 overall pick, Sam Layla, definitely has to be in our conversations here. Pete, you can tell me yes or no, but I feel like he is playing round 1, and that is pretty confident.
Watch for me because he's still nursing. He's never had a preseason because he's had injuries. He's nursing that injury. He hasn't been partaking in the match simulations. He's been training on the side. Now he's building up his fitness, so he's doing a lot of running drills. Does look good, but it's whether or not he's going to be ready for round one or not, because they're not going to rush him. They're not going to rush this guy.
No.
And if he is going to be in the team, we know that he can drift forward. So my worry is that we're picking a guy at 203K, and then he's going to be put in the forward pocket or potentially a sub risk because he's not 100% fit. So one to keep an eye on, 100%. He's in my team at the moment for Team Picker, but I wouldn't say he's a lock. I say Smiley's a lock, not him.
Okay, I like that. That's why I go to you with that, so we don't worry about Layla. The other two, Sammy Draper, I just love him. I reckon he's just got an engine. I reckon he's going to be awesome for Adelaide.
Sid Draper, yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, not Sam Draper. God, no.
That's what you said.
Did I? Oh,
yeah.
Whoopsies. Sorry, Sid Draper for Adelaide. Yeah, absolutely love him. I reckon he's got an engine. He has got a good footy. He's going to be an absolute driving force for these Crom. Hopefully Nick doesn't stuff it up and play Matt Crouch over him in the midfield. We want to see Sid Draper in there. And then the other one I'm just keeping the eye on. I want to know how he goes over in the Docker land. And that's Murphy Reid at 131. I'm not sold yet. I know that he's a little bit of a smaller build at the moment, but he's so good by foot. And I just love how good that he can be. His footy smarts are so high level as well. Really like what I can see there for Murphy Reid. So he's another one to keep the eye on there, especially at a discounted rookie price. Yeah.
I'm going to give you one Saints rookie that I'm really high on.
Of course.
And as you know, Skiddy.
Betty goes on.
Toby Travaglia. They've been raving about him at St Kilda trainings. I reckon he starts round 0 for them. And he's one to definitely watch there. Now, we've got 736.
I have one more as well.
Yep.
It's a bit more of a long shot, but Jesse Detoli from the Swans at 113K, he is going to be a gun. It just depends if he breaks into the side. It may be a little bit later down the track, but geez, he's going to be good.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you mind if I just have one to mention?
Yeah,
not at all.
Jaeger Smith, provided he survived the hit from Cripps, he's an accumulator. His numbers were insane, SuperCoach wise. Absolutely insane. He's skinny though. Like there's more meat on my little finger than him, but when he can find the footy. So just someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, 100%. He's the one though. When we talk Carlton, the reason why Matt Kennedy left was because he was not able to get into that midfield rotation. Jagger's going to need time, I think, to be able to get that. Yes, he's going to be great when he plays, but he's going to be a small body. But he can only play inside mid. That is his role, his position. If he's not, then I'm not liking it. It's going to be like Jack McRae, but at a more inconsistent level.
Okay, we're going to go to the flex now. There was a reason why I held off on Lukey Parker before.
Lukey Parker!
Because I think he's going to be very, very relevant at North Melbourne. He's a inside bull, as we know, but with the with the Swans last year, we saw that he drifted forward and kicked multiple goals on multiple occasions. So I think he actually gives a little bit more to North up forward. But then when you got the likes of Sheasel, Wardlaw, McKercher, these guys resting, and then you've got a bull like Luke Parker, like that's huge for even Cherry with the way that he uses the ball. LDU, all of a sudden, North Melbourne have got a fair bit of depth in their mids, and I really like Luke Parker. So we're going to pick him here because 343K with an upside where he has been priced north of 550K before. We know that contested points in SuperCoach are gold. We know he can go forward and kick goals. And even if he doesn't get to 550K, if he makes 150K, then that's our stepping stone into another premium. Pete, your thoughts, mate?
I mean, I like it. He's somewhat on my watch list, but I feel like it's the same issue that we have with McRae. We've got Wardlaw, we have LDU, we have Sheasel going in there, we have McKercher, who's apparently playing more midfield. I forgot who else. There's a few we have. But true. It is outside. We have Simpkin, who's been said to be playing more midfield as well. It's just a lot of guys, and there's only a limited amount of time that they could be in there. And we know Parker can play that half-forward role pretty well. Not great for SuperCoach, but he can play it well. So I'm just worried that he might spend a bit too much time out there, but I think the upside is definitely there. He was on SCN the other day, and he was saying that he's been training with the mids, but he also did mention that there will be a rotation up forward as well. And there'll be a pretty large rotation too. I like it, though.
Yeah.
We've
I
got
love
392k, Skiddy.
Yeah.
Defender.
Oh, jeez. Where do you guys want to go with it? Do you want to?
Let's put the filter on. So we can go to
Good idea.
392k.
Yep.
Defender.
Yep. Bramble responsibly.
No.
Definitely Bramble responsibly.
The cone.
The cone. Oh, he's not the cone anymore. He was good at the end of last year. The other cone, Ben Mackay. Oh, the other one, Jane Laverde.
I think I hate everyone on this list except for Callum Mills.
Do we give Callum Mills a bit of a shout out here?
Do we keep
I mean, if he has the role,
down and then we can track back.
Yep. We can go back to it, but Callum Mills is winning at the moment.
What about DeConning, the other DeConning, who could potentially be playing ruck?
If he's the ruck, then I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's the ruckman, I'm in.
Because he had 130 or 140 against TDK, so that's definitely something to be monitoring if he gets it over Conway and Blitzarves and Stanley.
And there was a photo that came out on Geelong's Instagram. I think it was yesterday or today, and he looked big. He looked jacked. Oh, yeah. So
the thing is, they need him down there in defence. They really need him down there because Henry can't take the big guys.
Yeah, that's true. That is.
But you still get excited.
Any love for Michael Lanny from Adelaide?
Nah, not with all their midfield back.
No. Archie Roberts probably won't be as prolific as last year.
Noah Bolter playing more defense is interesting. It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, we thought that last year, and then look how good Short and Velasquez were. So, yeah, I'm not hearing that bull crap again.
Any love for Ari Schoenmaker, who's rumoured to be taking over Battle's position in the Saints backline?
I'm not going to make any jokes about him, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Pete?
Still prefer Mills.
I think Mills is probably the best of what we've seen here.
I agree. Unless you want
Josh Sin, if he's got that role, maybe, but
Josh Sin, if he's got the role, I would lock him in. But until he's got that role confirmed, Callum Mills. But then we don't even know his role. Cox did say that he's going to be making a lot of changes, positional changes. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that means Mills going back into the midfield and going back to that 2022 form. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a couple of names like, you could go, we could throw Mills, you can go Goda, you could go, as I said earlier, we can have a look at Sin, depending on if he gets the half-back flank position, then, absolutely, then we can definitely make our decisions from that. Horse, I'm just noticing that there's no Campbell Chester in our midfield, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, good.
Well,
sorry, I shouldn't say that, but
sorry,
too
boys.
bad. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, with the experienced heads of Pete and Skiddy, we've put together a team that you go through it actually looks not too bad. So we've got Jack Sinclair, Jack Clark, Caden Coleman, Kitty Coleman, Callum Mills, Bo Allen, Earl Hawley, with Smith and Reed on the bench. Of course, with those rookies, we're watching during the preseason to see what their roles are, and also with Coleman and Mills to see whether they're going to play half-back or what position they're going to play. If Mills is back to half-back, he's definitely one that you want to consider at that price.
Oh, yeah.
Midfielders, we've got Bontempelli, Brayshaw, Will Day, who I think's in for another breakout year, Clayton Oliver. The difference between this year and last year, ladies and gentlemen, is that you remember back, he had the Heidelberg doctor issue, he had the hand issue, he didn't have a proper preseason. And for anyone that's played footy in the past, you know that you've got to build a solid base in the preseason to have a good year. And he just had the most interrupted year. The press were all over him. There was rumours of his teammates being all over him. He had to apologise to his teammates at one stage. The year just turned to shit for him. I'm anticipating a bounce-back season for him. And at someone who was priced at more than 200K than what he is right now, even if he makes us another 100K, it's a big win for us with Clayton Oliver and our midfields.
Let's remember, they have Max Gawn as the ruckman. Max Gawn is still there. He is going to force feed him down his throat. If his body is 100% right, Clary can get back up.
That's 100% right.
Agreed.
Will and Levi Ashcroft, as we heard Pete say before, they've got the early buy. So make sure you've got cover if you decide to go with those Brisbane Lion players. We've got Josh Smiley, who is 6 foot 100 and plays like Paddy Cripps. He's not going to be as good as Paddy Cripps just yet, but I feel like at 176K, it's a blessing that he dropped as far as he did in the draft because he's just that much cheaper for us to pick in our Supercoach sides. Don't overthink it. Along with Leo Lombard, he's got the see you next Tuesday that most people love in footballers, and he's also silky skilled as well. Someone that we're going to get a lot of highlights out of this year. Sid Draper, gun from Adelaide. Toby Travaglia, my boy, Central Vic boy. I think he's going to have a good year at St Kilda. Someone else that we haven't mentioned as well, boys, and that's Harvey Langford from Melbourne. He's having a good preseason for a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to see where he fits into that Melbourne team.
Yep.
He's not getting in there with Petrarca, Viney, Oliver, Rivers, Swallow, even if it's Sparrow, if they need to. I need to see him as an inside mid. When that happens, then I can start having a look at him.
For sure.
Ed Allen's another one at Collingwood that's doing well.
Ed Allen's doing really well. He's another
Tom
one.
Mitchell's absence.
Mm-hmm. Good shout, Pete. Then we've got Cherry and DeConing, 2 big rucks with Boyd's placeholder. You heard Pete before. Once he gets added to the Supercoach app, we're going to put Boyd from St Kilda in there. And then we've got Skiddy's boy, Jason Horn-Francis, in our forward line with Jack McRae, Bailey Smith. Yes, mate?
I said Pickles.
No, Pickles. Yeah. Bailey Smith, Matthias Philippou, Caleb Daniel, Jack Martin, Tommy Lynch, and the Fothergill medalist, Sam Davidson, in our forward line. That's actually not a bad forward line when you look at it. And then in our flex, we've got Lukey Parker, who can give us some upside. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, out of everyone in your team, your bottom score drops out. So you can afford to take a risk, if you like, on a flyer. Pardon me. And if they score well, you get their score. But if they happen to shit the bed and score you 20 and everyone else gets over 50, then their score drops out. So you can afford to do that. And we've also got 35K left in the bank. So,
beautiful.
Pete, what are your initial thoughts on that team?
I like it. I actually think we've got the 50 grand locked in. But my only concern, and it is purely because I'm going into the season with this rule, and that is to avoid as many buy players as possible when it comes to primos. Mm-hmm. It's actually a positive. For rookies, like we discussed earlier, some of those teams play early, which means price rises happen early for those rookies. But for some of those primos, it does mean they miss. We have to make sure that they don't play in the same week because then we have too many players missing. But when you have guys like Mills, Ashcroft, Day, and Smith that are at such discounted prices, you can't ignore them either. So, look, I like it.
I think we nailed the ones that in the iffy buy rounds, I think they're the ones that you can look at and go, okay, I can feel comfortable with them at the discounted price if I do miss a little bit. So, and we have hopefully enough coverage as well with hopefully Sid Draper is out there and Tom Lynch doesn't get injured 5 minutes into the round one.
Yeah, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for this episode. We're going to be bringing you plenty of content when we're talking the team picker, backs, defenders, forwards, pods, players to avoid, players that you must need in your side. We're going to have practice match notes. We're going to do episodes on rookies. There's so much more coming up on the Inside Fantasy Sports Network. But before we do go, Pete, your site, Nerds for Life, where can people find you, mate?
So at the moment, the website's down because it's going through some renovations. But I'm on all of the socials. So all my stuff's being posted for free on social media at the moment. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Twitter and Facebook's where I get the most information out there for you guys. YouTube, Nerds for the number 4 Life, SuperCoach, or Nerds for Life SC. You'll find me there. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, mate. Skiddy, thanks for taking the time out of your busy NBA schedule to join us for this Day 1 SuperCoach picker.
Yeah, mate, loved it. Can't wait to get stuck into the whole season with you guys. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and hopefully everyone comes along for the ride with us, and bigger and better. Keep on keeping on. How good's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This episode has been brought to you by our sponsors, The Standard Squeeze. Go to the website, thestandardsqueeze.com, and use the code IFS15 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. And also Ryan from Astute Newstead. If you need any help with money issues, home loans, want to borrow a bit of coin, spend over the Christmas break or what have you, he's your man. His Linktree trees in the chat will be in the description down below. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you after the Christmas break. But for now, stay happy, stay safe, enjoy the Christmas break with the family, and we'll catch you for more AFL news in the new year. We'll see you then.